As trends go in football, some things always remain the same. Erling Haaland scoring a goal, Liverpool having a minor wobble, and at the lane, it's 3 points for Arsenal. This is One Kick from Glory. And we're going to be talking about some nostalgia in this week's episode. I'm joined, as always, by Craig.
Yeah.
And Matthew.
What's up?
And this episode is titled The New Barclaysman. And there's been a trend going around online over the last few weeks about the Barclaysman. These are classic players, cult heroes, players from Premier League eras gone by who filled us all with joy and memorable moments. And for some of our clubs, players that did things that we did not like. So to start off with, an example of a player that fits this category is, of course, Morten Gans Pedersen, baller for Blackburn from back in the day. It does not include legends such as the likes of Henry, Gerrard, Shearer, because they live in a separate category. They're not Barclays, man. They just are. So, with that being said, Matthew, who would you say is your... Give me three of your favourite Barclays men.
There's one that came, it was on Sky Sports, and I forgot how good this brother was. And just how much flair he brought to the Premier League, to the most unlikely club. And that was JJ Okocha. JJ Okocha is the equivalent of hot sauce on your Lancashire hot pot. And you just ain't ready for stuff like that. And he just looked like he was having so much fun playing the game. Like, a smile on his face, bringing all these new kind of skills. And he played for Bolton. You could argue he probably should have played for a better club. Many clubs probably did. But the fact that he was playing for Bolton made them a little bit more special. And kind of spiced up the Premier League a little bit. They were pulling in results that you were never really familiar with. I mean, at one point, they got into the Europa League and were beating Bayern Munich. At Bayern Munich.
True story.
In the Europa League. I can't remember exactly if he was there, but that started the trend of Bolton Wanderers being a Premier League mainstay, maybe even slight Premier League force for a few years, because they had that Reebok Stadium and they had it as a fortress.
100%.
Really tough place to go for a few years. So, and he was a testament to that. He was like that diamond of the rough, and he was just like really, really fun to watch. Second one is another personal favourite. And it's mostly because the goals he scored, and that's two guys from Blackburn. Ooh. This guy never scored tap-ins. He didn't score headers. If it was less than 50 yards, he didn't want to know. And this guy would crack them left, right, and centre to one point that one of the commentators must have dropped a testicle or something, because he went, "Oh, two guys." It was that out of nowhere, and he just did it over and over. Fergie said, if I could, I would have had him, but he was just a little bit too old. But he even at that age, just still maintaining like just the technique, flawless. You may not be as fast or sharp, but your technique is flawless. Beautiful technique. And another one, a bit further on in the Premier League years, but he came in a flash. He lived in one moment, and that was Michu for Swansea. Ooh. This guy for 1 year was the terror, and turned Swansea into like a genuine, like, no, I'm not going to say a title threat, but he turned them into a threat to the point that he beat European champions Chelsea over two legs, with that Swansea team going on to win the Carabao Cup that very year. And one of the best things was that he only lasted for one season. He was like a flash in the pan sort of thing. Injuries, unfortunately, got the better of him, but he was such a joy to watch. He was skillful, he was smart, and that celebration he did with his hand just became like a bit of a trend thing at the time. But it was a time when it was just so much fun to watch. I remember the first game he played was QPR at Loftus Road, 5-0, and he made such an impression. It was like, this is gonna be a guy to watch. So, and we were right.
All right, Craig, who's your three Barclays man?
First one, Tony Yeboah. If you know, you know. Leeds fans know who I'm talking about. He was a baller. I remember 2 goals he scored. The one against Liverpool, when he smashed it past David James, and that volley against Wimbledon when he just chopped man and bang. He was such a powerhouse in the Premier League. I love watching him play. I love watching Premier League years. When I watch that and I see him playing, what a player. He didn't have a long time in the Premier League, but when he did, he was a quality player to watch, man. My second player is going to be Lucas Radebe from Leeds as well. I liked him a lot. I liked the way how he came from South Africa. He wasn't the number one choice. There was 2 players they bought. Paul Masanga was the number one choice they wanted, and they said to him to settle it down. they'll bring in Radaby to look after him out there, because he was a bit of a wildcat at the time, apparently. So they said. And Lucas Radaby ended up being a better player, and it's a Leeds legend, captain so many times, Champions League semi-final, big game player, South African legend, and Premier League icon. So I'll say Lucas Radaby and Tony Yeboah. My final one is Mark Viduka.
This guy keeps taking people off my bloody list.
Mark Viduka.
Gosh.
I remember the hat-trick he scored against Liverpool. I remember that when he turned certain man left, turned Sam Herkier left, right, bang, past the Jersey Dudek, or was it Van Westerveld? One of the goalkeepers in goal. That hat-trick against Liverpool. I remember the goal they scored against us to beat our title racing at Highbury. It pains me to this day. He scored something. I saw that goal he scored for Newcastle. He scored at Middlesbrough. He's a Premier League icon. But I think he'd be mostly remembered for his time at Leeds. So those are the three players I'm going to talk about.
Well, Craig took two of mine. But it's all right. There's plenty to choose from. And in fact, I'm going to start mine with a player that most probably wouldn't think of, but definitely wasn't ever present. A guy who played in the position that you wouldn't normally associate a Barclaysman in. That's centre-back. That's Linvoy Primus from Portsmouth. Hey. He's a guy when you can think about from back in the day, at the back for Portsmouth, ever-present player, very good defender. Not the very best, but definitely a guy who put in a good shift and was definitely up there with some of those at his time. And then moving forward up the pitch, I've gone for a guy who I think, if he was playing in this era, would have definitely gone to the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan, and that's Juninho from Middlesbrough. Ooh. Absolute gem of a player. Absolute gem. It's just a shame that at the same time, there's another Juninho playing for Lyon who took all the shine from him in the national team. But this Juninho, absolute baller for Middlesbrough. One of those players that you look back on and think, what an absolute legend. And then my last pick is a bit of an interesting one. I don't think most people would say he would get in, but for me, I think he brought an interesting, refreshing take on wing play as an Englishman, and that's Stuart Downing. If you think about it, he's Mr. Consistent. You know, wonderful left foot. Now, I could have gone for Matt Taylor. That's the hipster choice. Obvious choice there. But I felt with Stuart Downing, this is a guy that had great delivery on the ball, very consistent, had a good turn of pace, managed to keep his career going for as long as he did, was very, very consistent at Middlesbrough, got into the national team. And at times, you know, if you think about England now and the issue we have with squad balance, you could have put a Downing on the left wing in the last European Championships for England and he would have cooked. He would have cooked.
I agree.
You know, in many ways, if you're thinking about a modern day equivalent Stuart Downing, I look a lot at Everton's Dwight McNeil.
Yeah.
I see a lot of similarities in their game because McNeil is very just gets his head down. He's got a ton of pace as well. He's got a shot on him, just like Downing. And most importantly of all, when it comes to putting the ball in the box, he delivers most times. Obviously, this season, but he got the goal at the weekend. But yeah, so Stuart Downing is my pick, my third pick for Barclaysman. I mean, there's so many great players out there. If we were to try and do a Barclaysman 11, let's go from striker backwards because I feel like we can get the forward line done easily before the defence.
Just do it now.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do an 11.
Okay.
Who would be our strikers? First off, formation, it's got to be a classic 4-4-2.
4-4-2, man.
Who we got up top? Craig,
Mark
who you got?
Viduka.
All right, Viduka. Who's joining him?
Damn. You know
Got
what? There was one player I was thinking of, and there was another one, a flash in the pan, but he had a great time doing it. Papi Cisse.
Oh, Cisse is good.
Okay.
I had Yacoub in the back of my head, but we can see Cisse and Viduka is good.
Yeah.
Left wing.
Stuart Downing.
Underrated guy, man.
Right wing.
Juninho.
He's not a right winger though.
Isn't
But you're going to put him out there.
Oh, you can put him centre mid then.
Who are you thinking, Matthew?
I was thinking Juninho as well, but didn't
On the right?
he didn't play there as well for a little bit. Michu could play there if he wanted. Or he's more of a striker.
Michu was a striker. Well, you could put
Right
Juninho on
wing,
the right.
you can put right wing, you can put...
you
no,
put
hold on. Switch it around. Downing on the right,
Juninho
Pedersen on the left. Morgan Gantz Pedersen.
Okay.
Left foot.
We
That
can't
left
not
foot
have
kick.
Morton. We can't not have Morton.
Pedersen.
So Morton Gamst, Downing. Are we keeping Juninho in our midfield?
Yeah, midfield. Juninho and Okocha in midfield.
Let's have some fun.
Sure. All right, left back.
Left back. John Arnorisa, that left foot was disgusting. John Arnorisa, that left foot against United.
You got some power drivers in this team, man.
John Arnorisa. Yeah, John Arnorisa.
All right, centre back, Matthew, who you got? At least for one of them.
Oh, centre back. Let's put Limboy in there. Let's have some fun.
Limboy and Lucas Radovi.
Yes.
Right back.
Glenn Johnson, underrated. He didn't get a lot of rating, but he was a very good right back.
He had a good career.
Either him or Steve Finnan. Them two. Steve Finnan was a good right back, you know. He was solid.
Finnan has got... Yeah.
Or Gary Kelly. Gary Kelly used to play for Leeds.
Gary Kelly.
I think Gary Kelly's got to get the nod, you know, mate.
Hold on. You know left back, yeah? I know I put John Arnorisa.
Yeah.
But you could put Ian Hart as well. His left foot was disgusting.
But I think John Arnorisa. Ian Hart for Leeds.
He was very good at set pieces.
Pro Evo, that was my guy to buy.
Yeah.
And goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper.
Got a couple options. You can go classic.
Jussi Lassalainen.
Jaskalainen.
He was good.
He was solid on his day.
I was thinking it should be like Shaka Hislop. I was thinking Dave James. But I think Jaskalainen, to be honest.
Or David James.
Jaskalainen, he does feel like peak Barclays.
He was.
All right, cool. Interesting. Okay, so next, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to do this. We'll do a bit later. We'll see how we get on. We might do current 11.
Okay, I'm on it.
And then let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
For a current 11 of potential future Barclaysmen.
Okay, cool.
And I say all of that because obviously this weekend we saw the man, the myth, the Brock Lesnar of football, as you refer to him, Erling Haaland, getting another goal to continue Manchester City's perfect start to the season. I guess for you, Matthew, what is it going to take to stop them? And how unlucky were Brentford in this game?
Brentford doing well to score the first goal, showing that there's life after Ivan Toney after all. I think shows a good test of their mettle. And I remember last year or the year before, they actually beat them at the Etihad before.
Yeah.
So, and Brentford are that kind of team where they don't give up without a fight. I mean, they never flirting with relegation last year, but you know, it shows a good sense of mettle that's out there to beat them. As for beating Man City, there's only one thing that's going to beat them right now, and we all know what that is.
115.
115. I believe they're getting much closer to the investigation now, if it's not already started. Really, realistically, stopping this team is looking very difficult. If anything, they're stronger than ever. I don't know what's happened over the summer because they looked a bit shaky towards the end of their title defense last year. You got the best of them last year. We got a good couple of games out of them last year as well. But since that season, they've come back, and I know they've sold a few players, but they look like they've got their mentality in the right place, and he's back scoring again. There's 9 goals in not even how many games? It's gonna be it's looking like it's gonna be another one where he's just gonna be on absolute job, or he's playing for an advertisement. I don't know, but I don't. Football's a funny game, man. But I don't like saying it, but I will point out something good when it is, and they look sensational. They really do. But hard credit to Brentford, they didn't. This could have been an absolute rollover, but they're not the kind of team to kind of do something like that.
No, they definitely always put up a fight, and it's just a shame that they are up against one of the best teams in Premier League history. We all know why, but you know, putting that all to one side, I guess for you, Craig, and look at that match as a whole. You know, scoring early is a tricky one in football because in some matches it can benefit you depending on the time. Scoring after 1 minute from a defensive error, you know, I feel like it just fires up Man City. I mean, what do you think other teams need to do to contain Man City?
Stop Haaland. He's their goal scorer. No one else is scoring except him. Have you noticed that?
You know what? That's actually true.
Yeah.
No one else is scoring except him. Stop Haaland, you win the game. Other players have to try and step up. They've seen that Phil Foden hardly played this season. Grealish is not scoring goals. Savio is getting used to the league. Doku is very inconsistent, even though he's a very good winger. Not going to score a lot of goals. So if you stop Haaland, their number one striker, the only striker they got, you beat City. Stop Rodri in midfield, creating a chance. Stop De Bruyne, you stop City. Yeah, low blocks. Just rough him up a bit. Saliba knows how to do it. Saliba and Gabriel know how to rough him up. They did it to him last season, so I'm hoping for more of the same on Sunday. Just rough him up a bit, muscle him off the ball, get under his skin, and then he can stop him. Haaland's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I can play him. I could handle Haaland in the game. I'll just wind him up. He's gonna run at me. I'll just bully him off the ball, just knock him off the ball, kick him, give him a couple of kicks here and there, rough him up a bit, see if he wants it. If you rough him up, he doesn't want it. He might be all big and tall and big Norwegian striker, but if you rough him up a bit, I know he's Scandinavian, but honestly, rough him up a bit, he doesn't want it. Any striker doesn't want it if you rough him up a bit. Give him a couple of hard challenges here and there, poke him in the eye. This dude. I'm joking. I mean, rough him up a bit and give him a little challenge here and there and see if he wants it.
I'm trying to advocate for that. See, that's the problem. You start talking about nostalgic football. Man's saying back to the 80s, 70s football, but right? Poking in the eye. Well, this ain't Vinnie Jones's era anymore, right? I'm doing that kind of thing now on VAR. But yeah, you make a great point about teams needing to be a bit more, I guess, direct against Man City and not kind of giving up before the games even be kicked off. We've seen that too much last season. I'd say we've seen that too much over the number of seasons they've won the league where teams just don't even try. And it's about time they try and put up a fight. Now, one team and one player, I think, who is slowly trying to... And I wonder if some of these players caught wind of this Barclaysman's trend that's going on and decided to try and give us some spice this weekend. Because John Duran, that winning goal... Bruv, listen, Morten Gans Pedersen will be proud of you. Papi Cisse will be proud of you. Pedro Mendes would be proud of you. Two-Guy would be proud of you. That ball moved. Matt Taylor would be proud. I could keep going, you know.
Thierry Henry would be proud of you.
He ain't in that category, Craig, but I hear you. But you see what I mean? The ballers from Barclays' day of old, the ones that you can think of a season, like 06, 07, and you can already hear the music playing, the ball flying in the back of the net. Drogba will be proud of you. I know Drogba doesn't really count, but you know what I mean? Like, great goal. But before we talk about him, and I do kind of wonder with him what's going to happen next, because obviously he's only 20. He's second choice to Ollie Watkins, understandably so. I think Villa can play a 2 up front, and I think they do kind of flicker between, you know, a 1 up top, a 2 up top. And they started with 1 in Watkins and then brought on Duran to join him at a certain point in the match. So they can kind of flicker between that, and Emery knows how to get the best out of strikers. How long do you think Villa will hold on to John Duran? We'll start there.
It depends on their progress. They've actually made, apart from the loss against you, and they were quite unlucky on that game, they've actually made a really good start to the season. And that game against Everton, putting it out of the bag when they were 2-0 down, does show it, like, it shows a good strength of character, because Newcastle had that problem last year where it's all being well, taking on PSG and beating them 4-1, they then go get turned over in the other game and they get eliminated from the group. Now, they won their first game yesterday against Young Boys, and they were doing well in the Premier League. They've got to kind of keep that progress up and see how far they can progress in the competition under this new system, and just, you know, see where the squad is at. I'm not expecting them to win it. In fact, I don't think they'll win it. But think about this. Think of, say, a good cup run in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, get into it at least, maybe semi, maybe even the final. A good testament for a young player like that at 20, who we've already seen who's good at coming off as an impact sub. If he's scoring goals like that on a regular, incentivize him staying, start progressing in these cups. That's where it's at. I've already had my take where I said I don't see, or don't, maybe more like I don't want another big 6 team to go and win these cups. It doesn't hit as much as if it's won by a smaller club, you know, like Wigan did in 2013, when no one expects them to do it. And granted, it didn't work for them, but you get the idea. I mean, he's getting there. Teams will be watching him. Teams will be watching him, especially in the strikers market. I've said many times, the striker market is messed up right now, and he's just come through. And he's after what we've produced, has the potential to lead. And he's only 20.
And he's to me, it's his athleticism, his ball striking ability, and the confidence. I mean, I think in the Champions League last night we saw the same with the young wonder kid Bobby, as they call him. Endrick doing a similar kind, not a similar type of strike, but shooting the ball early from outside the box, just taking it on. We got a good goal there, but it's just something about players just having that boldness, just ras the ball. I love that phrase, ras it in, and you see the impact it has. But obviously, the big question will be how long Villa can hold on to him. Craig, do you think someone's going to make a bid in January to try and steal him away?
Yeah, Arsenal.
You think so?
I want Arsenal to buy him.
You want? Okay, I didn't say what you want. I said, do you think someone would?
Yeah, Arsenal will buy him in January. They need a striker like him. He's reliable. He's not injury prone like Jesus. He'll score more goals than Havertz.
Well, I don't know about that last one. Let's hold off on that last one. That's blasphemous, mate.
Not really. The guy can finish.
He can finish, but Havertz is scoring.
Yeah, but will he score 20 goals a season?
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
He hasn't done it in the Premier League since he's been here.
And we're gonna find out.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, this is the season to see. If he does it, great. If he doesn't do it, then we'll talk.
All right, cool.
I'm backing my guy, you know. I've got stocks in Havertz big time, as we know from the podcast. I got big stocks in Havertz this season. I ain't letting that one fly. However, I do want to talk about Everton. We can talk about Aston Villa all day. I think it's clear to see that Emery, given the time and I think less pressure and expectation from following on from Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, and also from the circus that is PSG, he's in the right club at the right size. It's a club that has a rich history, has a passionate fan base, has a settled ownership. You saw the same when he was in Seville. I think there are certain places where he needs to be to get the best out of himself. And Villa are going to do well this year. You know, how well they do will be down to a combination of factors. But I think that shout about winning the cup, they could be up there. Europa League, Champions League. Let's see how far they go.
They won yesterday.
They won.
They beat Young Boys 3-0.
So let's see what they do. But I want to talk about Everton. And what I have done is I've brought up their first 5 games over the last 4 seasons, including this current one. So we're going to start in 2021 season, which actually was their best season in a long time. So their first 5 games were a 3-1 win at home against Southampton, a 2-2 draw against Leeds away, a 2-0 win against Brighton away, a 3-1 win against Burnley at home, a 3-0 loss to Aston Villa to end that 5-game run, and then game week 6 they beat Norwich 2-0. That was 2021. 2022, 1-0 loss to Chelsea, 2-1 at home, a 2-1 loss to Villa away, 1-1 draw with Forest at home, 1-1 draw with Brentford away, 1-1 draw with Leeds away for game 5, and a 0-0 draw in the Merseyside derby at home. Not looking good. 2023, lost 1-0 against Fulham at home, got smashed 4-0 away at Aston Villa, lost 1-0 at home to Wolves, then drew 2-2 with Sheffield United away, lost 1-0 to Arsenal at home, and then beat Brentford 3-1 away. That was last season.
Yeah.
So far this season, a 3-0 defeat at home to Brighton, a 4-0 thumping away at Spurs, a 2-3 late defeat to Bournemouth at home, and a similar 3-2 late defeat away to Aston Villa, sorry. So just two games in a row they've had the same result where they went 2-0 up and they've thrown it away. Matthew, at what point do you think Evertonians should be worried?
Since 2023, apparently. Since 2023, when they first started skating that relegation line a bit too quick, and they can't afford to be doing that. I said before, that fancy stadium coming up, they're going to be looking over their shoulder thinking, we're going to be in with. They've already had that points deduction from last year, which granted was a bit unfair and really unlucky at the same time. They've got the new stadium coming up. They've got a lot of players in there that are looking like your Calvert-Lewins and your Keanes, your Colemans that are mainstays at the club, Dwight McNeil's as well, these kind of talisman players. What's their future going to look like if results don't pick up? Who have they got next?
We'll get... let me have a look. Hold on.
They lost again last night on the Carabao Cup on penalties to another struggling club against Southampton. It's looking very much in the mud. There's no light at the tunnel for this club. So the panic's been around for the last 2 or 3.
Well, they've got an interesting game on Saturday. They're away at Leicester. I know. But also, just a quick note on the table. They are rooted to the bottom of the table with a goal difference of -9. Leicester are currently 15th with 2 points and a goal difference of -2.
That's not good. But who are they getting the results against? Clearly something's not right at this club. And they need to turn it around, or look to be turning it around very, very quickly, because if not Sean Dyche, then who? Who's going to step in the club that's clearly in a massive need of help? They've got the players there to go ahead and do it. They're just not finding the confidence, not so much not to score, but just to stop losing these positions.
So what the issue is, they're missing Jared Brathwaite. He was their best defender last season. He's been out for a while. I don't know if he's injured or they're trying to sell him.
No, he's injured.
When he gets fit, they'll be okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
he was a good defender.
But the
from
question
last
is,
season.
how much longer can they go on like this? Because again, you go 2-0 up away from home. You go 2-0 up at home, you shouldn't throw it away.
Away from home, trying to throw it away either.
No, but also my thing is this. Okay, fine. You go 2-0 up, you concede 1 goal. It's the capitulation. The Bournemouth game, to me, I mean, the Villa one is Aston Villa, so you can kind of.
But I'm not being funny, Clive. Calvert-Lewin could have had 4 goals on Saturday.
We know.
He missed some sitters.
We know. But
Absolute sitters.
But then, you know what? So this thing with strikers, which I always find interesting in that situation. So on the one hand, you're right, it's missed a lot of chances and it's quite bad for the team. But at the very same time, the massive positive for Everton is that they created those chances. So chance creation is not their problem. It's taking them and defending. So for me, it's like they conceded the first goal against Villa in the 36th minute. Then the second goal, the equaliser, came on the 58th minute. They had all of half time to get stuff together. 58 minutes. That's not long after half time.
But I think the issue as well, Jordan Pickford is conceding too many goals. He looks good for England, but for Everton, he looks shaky.
I mean, look, it's that whole back line. They're not performing. They are woefully underperforming based on what they can do.
Ashley Young's not the same player he used to be. Who else as well?
Ashley Young, Tarkovsky, Michael Keane.
All of them. Michael Keane. Oh my
Fell off a cliff.
gosh.
And Tarkovsky from Burnley. Where's Tarkovsky from Burnley?
Michael
Mean
Keane.
defender.
I'll make sure you speak on,
Yeah, mean defender.
Yeah, but Michael Keane, has he ever really been
Good. Wasn't he at Man
reliable?
United? Wasn't he at Man United at one
Yeah,
stage?
with his
he
brother,
was,
It
yeah.
was at Man United, and
yeah.
everyone said potentially it was going to be the next best thing.
Yeah, at Man United.
He's fallen off a lot. He's fallen off a lot.
I mean, I think that the sad thing with this is you think about a Sean Dyche team, they're built on good defence. I don't know if sacking him is really the answer because clearly there's a bigger issue within this squad of players where they mentally, I think selling Onana is looking like a massive, massive mistake because, you know.
But they had no choice, Clive. They had to sell him to balance the books. Everton, Clive.
I understand.
Everton are in serious debt, you know.
I understand.
Mashiri, whatever his stupid name is, has messed up the club.
I understand. But also, I think, let's look at the balance of things, right? They've lost 4 on the bounce.
Yeah.
If they'd gotten a points deduction, but kept Onana, if they'd got points on the board, it might have been all right.
But they got no points.
But
all right.
I'm not being funny. Onana wanted to leave anyway.
I mean, opportunity come, you take it. You look at him; he's flourishing over at Aston Villa, so you can't knock it. I just think for Everton, look, they need to get a grip and fast because the problem in the Premier League is this: once you get to 10 games in, if you haven't recorded your first win, it's not that you can't stay up.
It's difficult.
Mentally, you don't feel like you're going to do it.
Yeah, you're already defeated.
And look, so 4 games in, they've lost 4. I would say their last 2 games show me enough that they have something to stay up. That's how I look at it. Because you've scored 2 goals. You've gone ahead in 2 matches in a row. So you have something.
Yeah.
You're creating chances. In both of those games, you could have gotten another goal to win it. You could have held, you're doing a lot at the top end.
Yeah.
The issue is the back. Their structure isn't right out of possession. They're not defending crosses properly. They're not marking players properly. They're not communicating properly. They're not fighting for the ball. So that needs to be fixed. But the thing that really can help you out in this league, which is the goal scoring part, they're making chances. They're not as bad as like your Burnley of last season, who, I mean, they made chances, but were they really chances? Not really.
No.
These are good chances they're making, and they're not being taken by a striker that, with all due respect, at his big age, he shouldn't be doing this no more.
You should be doing more.
He's acting like Nicholas Jackson. No offense. I should be doing better. So, yeah, work to be done for Everton. And I really, on the one hand, I hope they can pull it out. But it's one of those things, like you're saying, Matthew, about that slow slide towards the bottom of the table. You get to a certain point, and we saw that with, which team was always down there until they finally dropped out of the league? Leeds. No, not Leeds.
Eventually, they got kind of
Someone else that got relegated. West Brom.
West Brom.
Oh, yeah.
You're hovering in that zone and then eventually you just can't do it. Southampton's the same. You're hovering in that zone. You're hovering. You just slowly start sliding out. You just survive. Sunderland's the best example.
Yes.
You drop, and then you just keep surviving. After a while, you can't do it anymore.
Your luck runs out, isn't it?
It's not just about luck. I think mentally as a player, to know that you're having to fight for your life, it's hard. It's exhausting, especially when you believe you should be playing at a high level. Especially when you, like, for example, Leeds, You go from being in the Champions League, sitting with the big dogs, to fighting relegation. It's although none of the players in the club are from that era, you knew that era. The fans know that era. The board know that era. People might have changed, but people in that club know that era. It does something to you. You shouldn't be there, and yet you're there.
Yeah, I feel that one of the issues now is that they have to fix up quickly because, and the recruitment in the summer wasn't that good either. The recruitment was very poor. Everton's recruitment in the summer was very, very poor. They didn't replace Onana. They brought in this guy in Die. He looks all right, but they didn't replace Onana. They did a lot of loan signings. A lot of youth players came in. Everton need men. Everton's a club built on foundation. Like the great players like Wayne Rooney, like the Kevin Campbells of this world, the Duncan Fergusons of this world,
Tim Cahills,
Tim Howard. Who else did they have?
Yusuf
Yobo, all
fact,
these guys.
When you look back on it, when you think of a typical Barclaysman team, how many Everton squads make that?
Loads of them.
So many generations of Everton team.
Loads.
This team,
None of them.
None.
The only one, maybe, the Corre. The Corre scores goals.
Yeah, and
he's a big game player.
And
he
he's
scores
not
goals.
scoring. He's not scoring right
and
now.
Calvert-Lewin, before he gone off form, he was scoring a lot of goals for Everton before his injury problems. He's a goal scorer, Calvert-Lewin. Once he's got confidence, he can score. You deliver the ball in the box, he'll score. But he needs to be more clinical in front of goal because he's the key for them this season. He needs to stay fit. The better striker, he's only good in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
He only scores in the Carabao Cup. I haven't seen him score in the Premier League.
he's
I'm
finding
not being funny. No, Clive, he's been in the Premier League for 1 year now. Stop saying he needs to find his feet. Stop saying that nonsense.
I said he's finding his feet.
Nah, man, he's been there too long now. He needs to start scoring goals. He's a big physical guy, 6 foot guy. He needs to be scoring goals. Like he
I
can't
don't disagree with you, but he's still finding his feet.
No, it's taking too long, man.
He ain't landed yet.
They pay big money for him, man. He needs to do better, man.
My Lippy said, let him land, didn't it? He's still trying to land.
Tell Livy to relax, man. He needs to land himself, man.
But you know what else? They didn't. they didn't replace their play. Like all these players they sold off and whatever. They haven't replaced them properly. So
That's
they
true.
had a lot of really decent. I want to say about I don't know, maybe 7 or so years ago. Not massively long ago. They didn't get replaced. There was one guy they had who was really good, and he just disappeared with a whimper. Really good player, Belgian guy. What was his name?
Sigurdsson.
No,
not him.
no. Belgian.
Fellaini.
They have
Morales.
Kevin Morales.
Kevin Morales.
Yeah.
He was good for them. He was kind of like their little flair player. But
They had
players-
Lukaku. He scored a lot of goals for them.
Yeah, and he should never have left.
He should never left. He should stay at Everton. He was an Everton legend. Who else did they have? They had
Yeah, you're right. They've had players.
Yeah, they had players.
They've had players. They didn't replace them because they were teetering on that kind of 8th, 9th territory.
They were a top 6 team.
At one point, they were.
If you're thinking of the modern top 6, Everton were that.
They were.
For the Barclaysman era. That's where they were.
Yeah, but the issue is that they got rid of when David Moyes left, and then they had like Ronald Koeman was all right for a little bit.
Yeah.
They had so many different managers over the years, and it hasn't worked out. Rafa Benitez is the worst of the worst.
Stability, no
Moyes
stability.
and Martinez was the 2 best eras they've had.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then from that, it's just been a shambles.
100%. I think to be fair, Sean Dyche has done a good job at Everton. Even if they sack him, he's done a good job. He kept them up twice. When they're in serious relegation trouble, he kept them up twice. With the poor introduction as well, he's done a good job keeping them up. But it's not his fault that they're struggling because the board and the owners trying to sell the club haven't been able to sell the club, and that means Sean Dyche had not been backed in the transfer market with money.
I agree. You're right. And losing Braithwaite is also bad. But to be honest, 2 games in a row, you've thrown away a 2-0 lead.
So
That's coaching.
Is that coaching or that's the players?
That's still coaching.
But
No. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's the players. Let's look at the 3rd goal against Bournemouth the other day, right? Why on earth are the Everton players attacking that late in the game, trying to score a winning goal? Big man, just hold a draw, running on the left wing, losing the ball, and then you can't get back. And the guy that robbed you of the ball is the one who puts it in the back of the net.
to get a point.
It's ridiculous.
But there's another thing as well. The goal that Calvert-Lewin scored for his equaliser to make it 2-2. What the hell's Harrison doing kicking the ball back to him? He just kicked the ball to him and he just had a tap in. If you saw, did you see the goal?
Oh, you mean the goal that...
To make it 2-2.
Watkins
Watkins scored the second goal. Watkins' second goal. I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All he had to
That's
do,
madness.
why didn't he just control it and kick it out for a throw or kick it up the pitch?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is when players get stressed. The things you should do, you don't do.
get
And
straight
again,
in, make
because the
mistakes.
last game, they lost it from being 2-0 up,
Yeah.
3-2. That situation, the ball came to him, and in your mind, you're thinking, oh, here we go again. So the thing you should do, you don't do.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just give it back. Uh-oh. Now it's 2-2. Oh, we're back here again. We're definitely gonna lose. And what happens? I mean, it's a 1-0 goal from John Duran, but if Everton are set properly, that shot ain't happening because they're closing him down.
He blocked
it
the
doesn't
shot.
happen, yeah.
And that's what Nana blocks that shot.
That's it. He ain't getting the space for that shot. But, it's a good move from Villa. I can't knock it. But at the end of the day, look, Duran had a little bit of space
And time.
and he thought, why not? Matt Taylor vibes, why not? Papi Cisse vibe, why not? And that was it. So yeah, big work for Everton. I mean, it's like you said, it's been an alarming trend where they've been going the last few years. I hope they can figure it out. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just do not know. But we'll talk about from one blue to another set of blue. Chelsea got there in the end. Happy?
First clean sheet of the season, and that doesn't happen very often, but I might have been proven wrong on something. Robert Sanchez might be getting that way to number one. That is probably one of his best games in a Chelsea shirt he's had for a very long time. Penalty saves, saving stops. Not only that, he looked a little bit more, a little bit more sharp when he's coming up with his saves. Really, because Bournemouth were giving us they had some shots. They were having some shots against us. But I was a bit worried that one of them would sneak in because he's been known to kind of like let a flap around a little bit. But Maresca's backing him. Maresca's like, nah, this is my guy, and this is how it's going to be. It's only been a handful of games, but I was impressed seeing it. Thanks Man United for Sancho. Lovely, great first game by the way for Sancho. Getting the assists, grinding out those kind of games that kind of gets you success, moving up the table in the Premier League, and Kunku gets another goal. Happy days, man. Hard fought win, but I'm happy. But there'll be tougher games to come. I just hope they kind of maintain that kind of form going on. But yeah, man, Sancho first game down. I like what I see.
It's interesting with the goalkeeper as well because he gave away the penalty. Another day, if Evan Nilsson was a bit more warmed up, might have made a big difference. For you, Craig, Sancho debut, good sign for Chelsea all round, or just too early to say?
10 out of 10 performance, class player. I've always rated Sancho. I've always been a top player. Man United ruined him. Not ruined him. Ten Hag ruined him. Because Sancho, last season at Dortmund, look what he was doing in Dortmund. Look how he destroyed PSG in the semi-finals. And you're telling me Ten Hag couldn't find a space for him in his team? Mad management, crazy management. So I think Chelsea got a bargain. You got him for next to nothing.
He's loan.
A loan, but the permanent deal is cheap. For the amount of money Man United paid for him, you're getting a bargain. 36 million or something like that, isn't it?
We're freeing another Mancunian on a bargain. We're freeing another one.
And you gave him Mason Mount. Injury-prone Mount.
Look, all I'm saying is to complete the set, Diego Dallo for Reece James. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And that's all. We'll leave it there on the Chelsea front. Before we talk about Arsenal, Liverpool, surprising defeat at home.
Not really.
Wow.
Not really. They played poor. They're very poor. I know Diaz had a chance in the first half and hit the post, but they didn't really create. I heard that Trent gave the ball away so many times. They deserve to lose that game. And one thing I've got to say as well, yeah, about Hudson-Odoi, like, I've always rated him. I always think he's got a good potential. I think at Chelsea, the only reason why it didn't work out for him because of his serious injury. He snapped his Achilles tendon, I remember. And after that, it took him a long time to get back into form and get to fitness. With Nuno Espirito Santo, he's such a good manager with young players. He's done it with Gibbs White at Wolves and now at Nottingham Forest.
True.
He did it with Pedro Neto. Did it with the other guy. What's his name again? The midfielder Matinho.
Yeah.
And the other guy.
Yeah,
You mean Ruben Neves?
Ruben Neves got him
yeah.
from the Championship, brought him to the Premier League. He did it with the striker that plays for Fulham, Raul Jimenez.
Yeah.
So he knows how to get the best out of a player. He can make an average player look very good.
Even Traore.
And
made him
Traore
look
as
decent,
well.
yeah.
So I think with him, with Hudson-Odoi, give him minutes. all he needs is minutes and he'll score goals. He's got a one hand of a right foot shot on him.
Which we saw.
And he shot, instead of screaming, he scored. Hit the inside. The way it went in, just went boop and came back out.
Yeah.
Alisson, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. They'll get hands down. And he couldn't even get there. Not even Edison would have saved that. No keeper in the world would have saved that shot. And I think Nottingham Forest are going to do well this season. I back them to do well this season. I think they're not going to be relegation candidates this season. And they're unbeaten this season as well.
They are still unbeaten.
And they're currently sitting 7th in the table. Which is a great space to be. If they can maintain that.
They can get into Europe.
Get into Europe.
Ooh, the old guard back on set, man.
So that's interesting. I mean, for you, Matthew, any thoughts on Liverpool? I mean, like Craig said, for me, I say it's surprising because the run they've been on, I still think they're going to be in and amongst that shout kind of prep for the league come the end of the season. It's a blip of a match, a blip of a result rather. But do you think it's just one of those ones where it's like a wonder goal seals it? They were unlucky. Were there any signs of something that might be a bigger concern to Liverpool fans going forward?
It was an uncharacteristic loss for sure because they've been such on great form these past 3 games. First 3 all wins, happy days. I just think this was a particular day where I think that I was watching the highlights of the match of the day and they saw how well that Forest set up and they took that chance really well because the case of when he sees that shot coming, when Alisson sees a shot coming in, he's not. You don't like those kind of shots because you're not so sure of where it's going to go. Because if you actually see him watch his body language, he seems quite convinced it's going. He's obviously going to his left-hand side, but where on his left-hand side is it going? Is it one of those ones that's going to sneak past the post? Is he going to hit the post? No, it just finds it and it hits itself right around in the corner to the point that when you see it, you're even if you were to put your hand out, you're not getting that. It's too low. It's not even so much about the speed. It comes in quick, very, very quick. But it's the angle and the position. No matter what you stick out, you're not getting to that. And I just think they got caught on a day where they just weren't at the races. They tried. Diaz had a chance where it was nearly going for a corner. He hits the post. So it's not as if they didn't have opportunities to go and try and put it away. But you just look at it as like an uncharacteristic loss where it just wasn't. It weren't happening. It weren't happening. I don't think there's no real massive cause for concern. They're still on the right part of the Premier League table, so they got a good win last night in the Champions League, so they'll be back to ways next game. They'll be back on job. I wouldn't be worried if I was a Liverpool fan.
Well, definitely not one to worry. And on from one club that shouldn't worry, and one, right, mate. That's what we do. That's what we do around here, mate. That's what we do. You lose to Arsenal. That's what we do, right? That's what we do at home. Another North London derby, 3 points. I think Jamie O'Hara said it best, and word to expressions. I don't think this even happened in the Wenger era. We won at the White Hart Lane that many times. Draws, definitely. Beat them at home, beat them away occasionally. But three wins on the bounce. 3 point lead, 3 point lead, 3 point lead. So much I want to say about this game. So much I want to get into. But I want to focus on one actual thing before we kind of laugh at Spurs. What we've noticed a lot in popular culture is this kind of thing that it's referred to as retrofusion. It's kind of like looking at the past, nostalgia of classic designs, and just kind of bringing it into like the modern times. So obviously the Barclaysman trend, that's like a good example of it. You're seeing it in the kits right now. Obviously Adidas have gone for classic Adidas crest. We've got the Arsenal year of the cannons, so none of the badges, the cannons back on the kits. A lot of clubs are doing that. If you had the old-fashioned Adidas trefold leaf style thing,
then kids
Nike,
are sick.
Some kids are sick. But then when you look at this current Arsenal team, there's been a lot of talk about Pep Guardiola Jr., aka Arteta, is what they try to call him. But actually, I feel like if you really look at this Arsenal team, I think it resembles a different era. Not the Invincibles Wenger era. I think it resembles more George Graham.
I agree.
A team built on a solid defence, hard to get through.
Yeah.
Some big defenders that know how to defend, a reliable goalkeeper, young promising players all over the pitch, guys that get what it means to play for the flipping shirt, underrated heroes. Like Bold was underrated at times, Kieran's underrated at times.
Michael Thomas.
You got Big Gabriel.
David Rocastle.
There you
rest
go.
in peace.
Young guns that mean a lot to us, and then experienced stars all over the place. Strikers who may not be everyone's cup of tea, but deliver. Alan Smith, Kai Havertz. You see where I'm going with this? So, Craig, do you see George Graham in this Arteta team?
I was about to say that as well, yeah. Let me do a comparison. When Arsenal won the league in 89 against one of the greatest Liverpool teams of all time, that generation, Liverpool was dominating the 80s. When Arsenal went to Anfield, no team had beaten Liverpool by 2-0 in Anfield for God knows how long. And we went there, got the first goal, and then we got the second goal by Michael Thomas, the legend, the goal where he scored. Arsenal had not won the league for how many years that time? It was a long time they didn't win the league. And we won the league at Anfield. We went to Tottenham, our rivals. We struggled there a couple of times when the new stadium, when it first opened, we struggled there. Now, one thing with Arteta I have to say, he's got his team now. There's no excuses. When he first came to Arsenal, that was not his team. He got rid of all the big ego players, all the players that were not on it, like the Aubameyangs who I loved, the Lacazettes who were good players, were okay. The Ozils were on big wages. He got rid of all these players. I was a bit gutted that he got rid of Smith Rowe in the summer, but I understand it now because Smith Rowe wanted to play minutes. Reece Nelson wanted to play minutes.
And they're both flourishing.
I know. Eddie Nketiah wanted to play minutes. And Nketiah scored the other day. Yeah. He got rid of Fabio Vieira, not a good signing, to be honest.
On loan.
He's on loan, but I don't think it was a good signing. I still don't think it's a good signing.
Fair enough.
That's my honest opinion. He got rid of players in the summer he didn't want. And he's building a great team. Wanyeri, 17 years old. Send 2 men to the shop. Go buy me some food and come back. Make me my breakfast and come back. Send him to the shop. Thomas Partey, who's been getting a lot of criticism because like his injury record, has played 4 games on the trot and not been injured this season. Touch wood.
That's massive for him, you know.
Yeah.
Jorginho.
First game in how many months?
Jorginho hadn't played a lot of games this season. Hardly played. Came in and slotted in well with Partey. It's like watching 2 boxers boxing against these little kids and showing them how to do it. You had Bukayo Saka, Mr. Consistent, one of the best wingers in the league, hands down. No one wants to give him. People don't say he's not world class. I think he's world class. He's done it so many times now. If he doesn't score a goal, he gets an assist. That's world class for me. He's got 4 assists this season. He's created so many chances. You got Kai Havertz will run through a brick wall for you. He does every game. He does it for you. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he'll score a goal or he'll do something for the team. You got Gabriel Martinelli. I know he's not playing well, but he did a job on Sunday. He ran at them. He could have scored that chance. I was waiting for him to get his confidence back and he'll be good again. You got Trossard, unsung hero. The guy scores goal. He's clutch. He might not have the pace of Martinelli, but he knows how to score a goal. He's a finisher. The bench. You got Raheem Sterling, the legend, Premier League legend, Premier League Hall of Fame in the future. 5 Premier League titles.
Speak on it.
What else want to talk about? England legend.
At one point, England's best player.
England best player at the Euros in 2020. The youngest player to play in the Premier League. So the boy from Northwest London.
Come on now.
And a legend. And you've got who else came on as well? Gabriel Jesus, another Premier League winner. Experience. I know he's got injury record, but you need him in the team because he can score goals. He can do something magical. The Brazilian touch, the favela touch. He's got it. And who else you got now? Who else came on? Did anyone else come on?
That's the main ones.
That was Jesus, Sterling,
Wanyeri.
and Wanyeri. Wanyeri came on. Just bossed it. Man played like he's a veteran. So Arsenal are doing well this season. I know we struggled against Brighton, but it wasn't our fault. If their cross never got sent off in that game, we'd go on and win that game.
We should still have won it with the chances we had. But
I know. We would have won that game. So I think Arsenal fans need to be patient. I know Arsenal saying, we're 2 points by Man City. We go to Etihad. I'm confident we can go to Etihad on Sunday and beat them, you know. I'm very confident. You stop Haaland, you stop City. No other players scoring goals for them. So if we can go to Etihad, Gabriel and Saliba on Haaland, and we go the other end and get a last-minute winner like on Sunday, a set piece, because Ederson looks very shaky these days. Test him early. He's always making mistakes. And City will give you goals, because the defense has been very shaky as well. Look at what Wissa did the other day. He scored a quick goal against them from an error.
Very quick.
So if you test them early, we can get a goal. But I'd rather score in the 90th minute than early in the game, because I know City will come back. If we score in the 88th minute or 89th minute, I'll take a 1-0 win. And that will be a statement win. That will shock up the whole Premier League. I know Gary Neville backed Arsenal in the league this season. I honestly feel if we can go to Anfield that we haven't won for a long time, go to the Etihad and beat them, go to Newcastle and beat them, I think we can win the league this season, honestly. And then get a couple of additions in January like maybe a striker, maybe an extra midfielder, whatever, we can go and win the league this season. It's not hard to win. And I think Arteta, and for Arteta's legacy at Arsenal, he needs to win a trophy this season.
That we're all agreed on.
So I back Arsenal to beat Man City on Sunday.
Before we get into all that, I do want to highlight a man who is definitely stepping up game in, game out. And that, of course, is Gabriel at the back. Obviously, everyone really highlights Saliba, and he's the vogue player. I've guessed for you, Matthew, how much does Gabriel impress you and that partnership between the two of them?
You could see that passion when he scored that goal and just how he means. And you got him in him as an early addition. I just think like he needed that more youthful exuberance on the side of him with his experience to kind of bring out the best in him. And he just looks so like comfortable and happy playing alongside him to make that really, really strong partnership in defence that you've been crying out for so long, to the point that they're comparing him, I think I saw it online, whether I question how much I believe it, I don't know. They're sort of taking having like the top 10 best defensive partnerships. Considering you're the only one not to win a Premier League, that must say something for the ideas of where you want to be going to. So, cracking. It was a really, you know what? You kind of had, considering the omissions you had in the game, like especially like some Partey and thing, you actually did really, really well. They marshaled that, like, you know, Partey and Jorginho, who can, when we've known for when he's in a more slower pace, more defensive style of play, more an ugly style of play, he flourishes because he slows the play down. That's what he likes to do. And occasionally, he'll pop off an odd pass or send someone forward and try and get a goal. But he's best at when he's slowing down the pace and commanding that kind of defense. So, you know, it's a leadership quality that you really, really have. But you know what? Gabriel is, you know, he's got the makings of being like one of those Premier League mainstays. Like you could see someone like him staying at Arsenal for the rest of his career purely because he just likes playing there. And I think you guys as the fans have really taken him on and appreciated him. So very important. It's just, there's something about your centre backs getting a goal in a game like this that you really cherish because it just screams of passion. And you saw that in the celebration. You really did.
Indeed. And obviously, just some news from Arsenal. Our captain is going to be out for a couple of months due to that stupid, pointless injury he got on international duty. And the one thing I do agree with Rodri, I don't agree with that guy on many things. Don't like him, really. But he was right in the fact that players are playing too much. And actually, he was even saying that some of the players are saying that they're contemplating striking because it's just too much of the fixtures. Anyway, so we're going to have to adjust to that. And with that little bombshell, let's talk about the preview. Actually, before we get into the preview, do you have a hot take this week, Matthew?
Still sticking with mine. I haven't got a new one, but I'm sticking with mine because I'm confident of it. I'm sticking with the fact that the Carabao
is going to be won by a smaller team.
And the FA Cup
is
going to be won by a smaller team.
Outside the traditional, no Man United, no Chelsea, no Man City, no Arsenal, no Liverpool.
They ain't winning it.
So would Tottenham be with a shout then?
Hell no.
Hell no.
They're a smaller team.
Bottle Jobs FC, man. Never.
Wrexham got a better chance of that, mate.
Anyway, let's move on. Coming up, we've got some massive games. Starting off on Saturday, West Ham against Chelsea at the London Stadium.
Having it. Lovely 2-0 win.
2-0.
2-2.
To who?
Us, man.
Oh, you got to clarify, you know.
Us,
I know you said lovely 2-0 win, but we were just accepted defeat. 2-2 draw. Draw as well. Score draw. Villa versus Wolves at Villa Park.
With a home win.
Derby home win.
Home win, 3-0.
I'm going away win, you know. I think Gary Neve's got something for them. All right, Fulham versus Newcastle.
Wow, that's a good one, you know.
That's a tough one. Fulham.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Fulham are in great form. Newcastle are away.
Score draw, 1-1 score draw.
If we have a bright sunny day, I can see Smith Rowe turning up. I'm going to go Fulham win. Leicester versus Everton.
Leicester win.
King Power Stadium.
Leicester win. Vardy's going to destroy that defence, man. Watch.
Yeah, you know,
Vardy's going to
he's having...
This is what he did to Mark Gay the other day.
Yeah.
Mark Gay's not a slow couch, you know?
No,
I think Leicester's going to win that, man. Until Everton sort out the defence, Leicester's going to win that game.
2-1 Leicester.
I can see that being the fight back from Everton, you know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 2-1 Everton.
Okay.
Late winner from Calvert-Lewin.
Okay.
Liverpool versus Bournemouth at Anfield.
Home win.
They're going to want to put things right.
Bounce back.
Yeah.
Nice little bounce back.
Bounce back, no Ten Hag. Southampton versus Ipswich at St Mary's.
I'm back in Ipswich, you know.
I'm back in Ipswich.
Because they got a point last week against. Who did they play last week? They got a point against them.
I think it might be Crystal Palace.
No, it wasn't Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace played
Brighton.
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 Yeah, that's a
Oh,
good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think Ipswich is going to win. Southampton got 2-0. They're
just the back,
yeah, the back is not solid. Yeah.
Anyway.
Come on the track, the boys.
I think the Saints might get a cheeky 1-0, you know. Ramsdale man the match. I heard it here first.
Okay.
Spurs versus Brentford at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Brentford win.
Desperate for a bounce back. He said Brentford win.
You know, considering what did against City, it's not impossible. Maybe cheeky 2-1.
I think Spurs will wake up and still lose to Brentford. Crystal Palace versus Man United at the Selhurst Park.
I'm backing Palace to win. You know why? Eddie Nketiah scored the other day. He's going to be up for it. He's got a good record against United. He scored against United before Arsenal in that 3-2 game. And Meteta scored a good goal against them last season. And I think the guy we need to watch out for is Eze. I want him at Arsenal, man. What a player.
All right. Palace win.
I think Man United's having a bit too much. I'm going for maybe a 1-0 Man United.
Yeah, I think Man United are rolling on. Palace will score. I'm going to go 3-2. Big scoring game.
Okay.
Then on to Sunday, Brighton versus Nottingham Forest at the Amex.
Draw.
I'm going Nottingham Forest.
I'm going Brighton. They're unbeaten this season.
So Forest.
Ooh.
That's why I said draw.
And
because both teams are good attacking teams and defending. Nottingham Forest goalkeeper is very dodgy, man. He almost scored an own goal the other day. I watched the highlight today. So I think
he did. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna back a draw.
Okay. And you already said Man City Arsenal. Oh, I already said Man City Arsenal. You backing Arsenal for a
I'm
cheeky
backing
1-0.
Arsenal to win.
Matthew, how do you call it?
This is going to be a meeting of things. This is going to be a draw. A 1-1 draw.
It's a very tough one. I think it's best defense versus best attack. It's the sword of Haaland versus the shield of Gabriel and Saliba. It's going to come down to midfield, you know. Midfield's going to settle it. And we have Rice back.
We've got Rice back. Rice and Partey back, yeah.
So I don't know what he does if he goes for the same composition in midfield and just swaps out one of Jorginho and Partey for Rice. Or does he gamble and go for the young kid?
I'll play him in
But
that game.
I suspect
Yeah.
Jesus will come in through the middle.
So instead of Havertz.
Havertz will go back into midfield. So it'll be Havertz, Rice, Partey as the three.
What about on the left wing?
Martinelli, Saka, Trossard on the bench.
Yeah, or maybe
Because
Sterling.
Jesus always does something against them.
What about Sterling? Wouldn't you
I
start
think
Sterling
Sterling and Trossard off the bench.
Impact subs.
One for Jesus, one for Martinelli.
That could work, yeah.
No, Sterling can't.
That's what I
He
said.
can't.
No, he
he
can.
can. On Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.
And he likes playing against his old clubs.
I know he does. I mean, I would be half tempted to switch it. I mean, it's either he's going to play the same front four as last week and just swap one in midfield, or he makes 3 changes or 2 changes.
If I was him, I'll definitely give I'll give Martinelli a first half and see what he does. If it doesn't work, take him for half time, bring on Sterling.
But I definitely think Sterling starts against Atalanta midweek.
Tomorrow, yeah, definitely.
Starts that game.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what else he does in the team. But yeah, that's it for the predictions. Thanks, guys, for listening. It's been an exciting season, as it was last season, as it is this season, as it will always be, so long as we all love life and football. North London is red, will stay red, is never white, and will remain red. That's it.
Peace.
Safe.